upon a time, there was a badass bunny named Peter Rabbid. He spent his life in comics that were sold in the Silver Snail in downtown Toronto, and then he took a brief hiatus. While this mischievous bunny stewed and really kind of grew, he evolved into the falafel-loving, mischievous little bunny that we love today. Then, in January of 2021, Peter began a whole new life on Planet LIZZDOM. At first, his pages from CRAPNATION were ripped into comics, and then new ones were created. But truly, the magic of Peter Rabbid lies within CRAPNATION. So get your copy today and read it on the toilet where it should be read. Hi everybody, welcome to Planet LIZZDOM. This is such a special episode tonight because I'm going to be interviewing myself. I'm really happy to be here. I have to tell you, uploading all the media for tonight's episode kind of ticked off StreamYard, so I'm hoping that they still like me. Apparently I really pushed it to the limit, so you may have seen the video feed a little bit funky at the beginning of the show. But thank you all so much for being here. I am so stoked to be with you guys tonight. I don't even know where to begin. I see people are in the comments already. This is so exciting. Thank you so much, Magnificent Kaboom. Every week you tune in and you constantly cheer me on by telling me that my work is top shelf. So thank you so much. Where do I begin? I mean, for those of you who don't know about Peter Rabbid, he's a badass bunny. There are a lot of origins to the story, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of begin. You know what? Let's go back to the beginning. 2004, I was actually chatting with my sister Monica, who's tuning in tonight. So hi, Monica, who is probably one of the brightest and most creative writers I've ever met. And I'm so lucky to have her as my brainchild and brain team. And I'm so happy to see her even in the comments section. Hi, Monica. Peter Rabbid says hi as well. So here is the story of Peter Rabbid. So once upon a time, I was on Toronto Island with Monica and my best friend Kimberly, and we were talking about making a cartoon. And I don't remember exactly how we got from A to B, but I was putting together a character, and Monica said, well, why don't you name him Peter Rabbid? And I just dropped everything. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, he's a rabbit. He's Rabbid. There you go. And I thought, you know what? That's amazing. And with her permission, she gave me I guess the name rights to use Peter Rabbid, and I will always give her credit for it. So thank you, Monica. You are a flippin' genius. And from that grew a cartoon and a comic book. Actually, this is one of the first buttons I ever made, and I forget who sent me these photos, but thank you so much for holding on to them, because these are the comics that I made and actually had the privilege of selling at the Silver Snail in Toronto. And for a while, the issues were selling out and I had to go and replace them. So I was really grateful for that. And I have to say, you know, I would like to bring the issues back. You know, it's a very big deal to me to create these stories. And even though Peter started out a little bit angry and a little bit crusty, over time he's gotten a little more clever, a little more interesting. If you guys have any questions for me, please jump on the comments here, because I will definitely answer anything that you want to know about Peter. So Peter, he's a badass bunny. He loves falafels. He gets in trouble all the time, and he became kind of an art project for me. Even though I made these cartoons and comics, and you know, he was constantly angry, I also made a lot of paintings, and I had made a series that I showed at Supermarket that showed, you know, his girlfriend Chronica and her their drug exploits, you know, definitely not for kids, but very funny just the same. And I'm really proud and flattered to say that a lot of folks bought my paintings. And this one actually was bought by a close friend of mine who shall name private, but he has it in his home and he's very kind with it and loves it. This one actually Monica owns. And this one was sold as well. And those are about the only ones that I've actually been able to keep track of, because 2004, I didn't really have access to a digital camera. Facebook, I think, had just started, or I think it was MySpace, and Facebook would then come next. So I didn't really have a digital platform to really hold Peter Rabbid in. And of course, as things go over the years, your computers come, they go, servers die, and a lot of things get lost to the ethos. So if anybody has some old photos or, you know, old clips of my work, I would really love them. I'd be very grateful for them. But Peter Rabbid, he was, you know, very interesting character. And out of that came something called Rabbid Flash. And I had done a series of tattoo work where it was all about Peter Rabbid. And hopefully someday I will commission my favorite tattoo artist, Rochelle Squidding's work too, to cover me in some Rabid Flash. So that was 2004, and a lot of things happened. I was at the time I was naming myself Liz Dexic, as in dyslexic, and the name was fine, but it just didn't quite make sense anymore. So I kind of stepped away from it, and I gave Peter a bit of a break because all of a sudden I wasn't so angry or in tune with anything in popular culture. I was just trying to survive and get through the days. But art never stopped. As an artist, you commit to your craft daily, and even though you may step away from it for a little while, it never leaves you, and you come back. So all of a sudden, about 2014, 2012, 2014, I started doing more art again. I had the opportunity to work with Red Bull, a few other corporate clients as well, and I started to make paintings again. I did illustrations in different books, and I started to kind of work on a new version of Peter Rabbid. So this is kind of a little something I did in 2016. I forget exactly what the number 15 was for. I think that may have been when I was working on the mural for Disgraceland, I think, because I know I was doing a number for each time I painted, and there was probably about 25 different sessions painting that mural. So I think that came from it. But from that, Lizdom was born. And, the origin of Lizdom is that, it's my version of wisdom. I've had people ask me if it means other things, but that is the simplest truth. Lizdom is my wisdom. So moving forward from that, Peter really kind of became reborn and just had a little more of a soft edge to him. He was a little kinder. And one day, Tina 6 had posted on her Facebook that her zine from high school was going to be reborn, called CRAPNATION. And let me tell you guys, I just about fell on my butt when I heard about it. When you the lightning hits you and you feel completely compelled to do the thing. I realized right then and there, I have to be a part of this. Peter Rabbid has to be reborn, and the first issue happens in 2 weeks. And I sat down. I didn't have any new pens. I didn't have any new paper. I literally grabbed whatever I could around me, and I just churned it out, and I got it to Tina. And I told her, whatever you want from me, you've got it. I am here. I'm on board. I am forever going to be a part of your team. You just say the word. And within that first issue, Peter Rabbid was reborn. And, one of my favorite covers actually came from issue number 4. And actually I was in Quebec when I did that. Actually, I was at a family reunion, and I had one pen and one piece of paper with me. And I locked myself in a room for about 6 or 7 hours trying out Peter Rabbid and sending it to her for that issue because it had to get done, and it was a really, really big deal. I see some people in the comment sections. Do you have any questions for me? Oh, well, Monica's already saying she misses those launch shows. They're so much fun. For those of you who don't know about CRAPNATION, it is the brainchild of Tina 6 and myself and Jen Rooms, also known as Jen Trois, who's a wonderful artist out of Los Angeles now. And these became, every 3 months, quarterly events actually in Toronto, where we had put together a zine like this, and you would pay your cover and you would come see a whole bunch of amazing bands play. And usually they would be covered in that particular issue and interviewed and featured and that sort of thing. And it became a real happening, a real event again. And Peter Rabbid, really got to be a part of that. And people actually started to look forward to what he was going to do. And he would have different adventures, and they would be a really great way to kind of connect with your friends and create new family. And that's really kind of been the launching pad for Peter Rabbid because, as rough around the edges as he may be, he's got a really big heart, and that's a really, really big deal. And so one of my favorite issues actually was with the Addicts, who I had the absolute privilege to interview Monkey, which is why I'm wearing my Addict shirt today, because you know what? He's absolutely wonderful. He's a lovely, lovely person. And I'm very, very honored that I got to make him sleep on my couch when he came into Toronto. Thank you so much, Greg. One of the things I was trying to create for the comic for the Addicts issue ended up becoming one of my favorite songs, actually. What is it? Chinese takeout, takeaway. So good. I can't even talk. It makes me laugh every time. And drawing that was a lot of fun because, you sing the song, you get used to it, and you really, really get into it. But, those of you who know me well and know that I love Mad magazine, and more specifically, I love Spy versus Spy. And in one issue, we actually did an issue about Spy versus Spy called Rabid versus Rabid, and it was a really great homage to the whole good versus evil, and really who is good, who is evil. And I had such a fun time drawing them and coming up with different t-shirts. Like you'll see the Path to Crazy Hades and Air Sky Saucer. Like Peter always has some sort of random band t-shirt. Sometimes it's a real band, sometimes it's made up. And I really, I had such a great time honoring that whole series of Spy versus Spy, because I love the antagonism and I love the never-ending silliness of it. I mean, really, that's probably where Itchy and Scratchy came from. Sorry, Itchy versus Scratchy. But I think that's probably where it came from, because they fight and they fight and they fight and they fight. And with Peter Rabbid, I really got into this whole cutout clothing for dolls, and it became one of those things where I just began thinking, what other outfits can I come up with for him to dress up in? Because who doesn't want to dress up a doll? It's the most fun ever. Even for Peter, it's the most fun ever. Oh yeah, Greg, Spy versus Spy is still super strong. It's still really, really amazing. And I hope it never goes away. Like, I hope it's always, always a big deal, because it's just so brilliant. That's all I can say. Like, Peter Rabbid, I love Peter Rabbid, but Spy versus Spy, like, that's just the ultimate for me. It's so amazing. With CRAPNATION, it would usually be a one-page comic, and very often I would try to get a huge story in there. Here, this is just about I think about Tinder, and how the right person for him comes along, and all of a sudden he swipes the wrong way. I think we've all probably done that. Not that I've ever had Tinder or anything like that, but I know if I did, I would probably do that by accident. I know I do it all the time with social media. I'll be on TikTok and all of a sudden I'll just swipe up for one quick second and I didn't mean to, and all of a sudden it's gone. Okay, so CRAPNATION, and we had the parties, and they were a really big deal, and they were really, really fun, and all of a sudden COVID happened. And all of a sudden we couldn't have those parties anymore. And this is before, I really knew how to do any kind of online streaming. At this point, at best, I was able to go onto the computer, onto Creative Cloud, and clean up my pictures and send them to Jen Twa and Tina so that they could piece it all together and then print it up. So all of a sudden, here we are, we're locked up. What am I going to do? Because of the pandemic, I couldn't draw. I could barely get out of bed. I was a complete hot mess, as probably everybody else was. But then I started to put together some shows with my boyfriend Mysterion in the kitchen. We did a series called Dr. M's Mad Mausoleum, and I got to be the toilet paper mummy. And I had one thing of toilet paper on because it was all rationed at that point. So that was kind of the joke. And we did our very first show in the kitchen on Zoom. I had set up my phone. I installed the app. Our friend Bella Muerta was putting it together, running it for I think Blood Opera for their co-video, and we did our very first experience with Zoom. And it was really interesting to kind of perform and be online live to everybody. That was my very first experience with that. What would Peter Rabbid have to say about the freaking pandemic? Peter is a vaccine rabbit, ain't he? Oh yeah, Peter is a booster bunny for sure. I'm really not sure what he would say beyond, I think, everything that we all would say. Let's just get on board and move on forward. It drives me crazy. But enough of that. Back to co-video. We did our very first thing with Zoom, and all of a sudden, here I am learning Zoom to help moderate for Mysterion and Steffi K for the Sentimentalists, so they can start doing live shows. And I'm not going to lie, it's really intimidating when you're running the show. I may look like I'm really comfortable right now, but this is 2+ years of working with technology and literally falling on my face in front of everybody. I've learned that I like to broadcast live because you only get one chance to get it right, and it really forces you to do your homework and to go with the flow. Thank you, Greg. He says, you've come so far with your tech. You should be proud of the hard work you've put in. Greg, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here. Guys, you have to know Greg is one of my oldest friends. We grew up in Tottenham together. And at the top of the pandemic, he got online with me from Kingston, Ontario, through share screen and through all kinds of other patient hours. He taught me how to use Zoom and StreamYard. He taught me in 20 hours how to use StreamYard, and we literally put our noses to the grind and did it overnight. And he is the reason that I can do anything I do, because he taught me with so much patience. So I can't thank him enough. Thank you so much. That is exactly why I'm here. And guys, if you can be a teacher to somebody else, please do it, because we need to learn and increase our learning curve so much in every way. And the more active we can make our minds right now, the better off we're going to be, because these are really wild times. And if we can learn new things and be challenged and excited for something, we're going to make it. Oh, let's see, where am I? Oh, I'm not used to talking this much, which is weird because I talk all the time. Okay, so here I am learning StreamYard, and all of a sudden, fast forward to December this time last year, and I was doing show after show after show online, constantly, every single day, in, out, in, out. And I would go for long walks, because at this point we were in lockdown. And I felt like there was something missing in my creative life, because, we couldn't do CRAPNATION, we couldn't do those parties yet. And I was feeling a lot of disappointment, and a lot of, I guess, I was feeling lost, and I thought, well, what is my purpose? I'm more than just a moderator for other shows. I'm a creative person. What is missing from my life? Thank you, Greg. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and this is kind of part and parcel to Peter Rabbid and how Planet LIZZDOM began. And he was a lead singer of one of my favorite bands. Again, he shall remain nameless, but I do have to thank him so much. I owe him a debt of gratitude, and when I can see him in person, I will thank him. But long story short, he was saying that, if I can't perform, what's the point of being alive? The suicide ideation was there, and, the heartache and the trauma was there. And I heard it loud and clear, and we were chatting, and I said to him, if you're thinking this, maybe a lot of other people are too. I think every artist, every performer is probably feeling that same sort of desperation. And I realized in that moment that, the stage didn't necessarily go away. It just changed, and I wanted to talk about it. So I asked him to do my first episode with me, and he politely declined, because he just wasn't ready to go there. And I absolutely respect that. Hopefully one day he will want to. But in that moment, Planet LIZZDOM was born. And I remember coming home, saying to my boyfriend, Mysterion, that I felt absolutely compelled and driven to make this show. I know how to use StreamYard. Let's make it happen. And literally that night, he helped me put together my YouTube channel. We made a commercial. We uploaded it. That was on a Sunday. And he told me, okay, your first show's on Thursday. Go for it. And then all hell broke loose. Literally the Tuesday, our computer stopped working. The Microsoft password just arbitrarily stopped working. And because it was such an old computer, we didn't have access to it. And I remember trying to fix it. I even got on the horn with Greg to try to fix it, and it just wasn't working. And actually, I think that may have been the Wednesday, not the Tuesday. And I thought, great, my goose is cooked. The first episode of Planet LIZZDOM is not going to happen. Peter Rabbid is not going to happen. What am I going to do? And as luck would turn out, my best friend Alexa lent me her laptop. And because I'd been doing so much online streaming, my learning curve went like this. And I got on the computer, and, with her sitting beside me, virtually holding my hand, and Mysterion in the other room doing another Zoom call, I went on and I did my very first Planet LIZZDOM live, which I'm so excited to celebrate with you, because January 6th is going to be season 2. I'm so excited about that. But more importantly, for this episode, Peter Rabbid was born. Now, at the time, I didn't know how to animate. I didn't have access to any kind of editing programs, and that is actually changing now. So I started ripping from the pages of CRAPNATION. And I thought, well, what if I take pictures of each cell and actually line them up? So I want to show you guys actually what those first ones looked like. Let me just go to my video. Oh man, I got so much media up in here. No wonder StreamYard's so mad. Here are the first couple of Peter Rabbits that I made. It is going to be the same song. I'm going to give you a heads up. You're going to have an earworm for the next week. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So I want to introduce you to the first one I ever did. It was Funny Bunny Balls. What I love most about that particular animation is that zine ended up on the tour bus of one of our favorite bands, The Long Shot, with someone from Green Day, and it was kind of a big deal because that particular cartoon was right beside an article about them. So I'm very hopeful that a certain lead singer of that band saw that cartoon because I was particularly proud of it. The next one that I did was Best Foot Forward. See what I mean? He's so much pluck here. He's not as angry. He's just cute. He's adorable. This one makes me laugh every Valentine's Day. I think everyone needs to show this to their girlfriend because it's so stupid but adorable. I kind of hope that I get that for Valentine's Day one day. It's so stupid, but I love it. This next one that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to kind of break them up a little bit because I did not change the music for two reasons. Number one, I don't have 12 hours to change all the media. But number two, I know that song is public domain, so I'm at no risk of YouTube slapping me on the hand. I did a 15-second TikTok with the Ramones a couple of months ago, and they slapped me on the wrist and ripped my video right from YouTube, so I don't want to take that chance again. So I'm so sorry about the Monkees song, but at the same time, I'm not. This one, this next one is based on something that I used to do when I would travel. When I would travel, I would have a fake wallet. I'd have my actual wallet, but I've had a fake wallet with me, which was, really cruddy looking, loud, easy to find, just in case someone decided to, rob me, and I would just throw it away. Now, here is what my my intent always was, and I never had a chance to do it, but I always hoped that if I had to, this is what would happen. Could you imagine robbing somebody, pulling out the cash, thinking that all of a sudden, you're so rich, and you get pieces of paper with that on it? I can't even, I would just want to hide around the corner to see what this person's face is. I mean, obviously I wouldn't because I value my life, but in my head, it's so funny. Please don't try that at home. But I do want to, do it myself one day. So that being said, we're at 8:25 already. I can't believe this. I'm going to play 2 commercials and we're going to be right back.
Hey everyone, Planet Lizdom now has a Patreon. Your help will allow Liz to make the show even bigger, cover costs, and help bring on celebrity guests. Go to patreon.com/Planet Lizdom and pledge now.
you know the Plastic General is watching when they ask you about the Cape Canaveral playset behind you here. Yes, that is, and I am not going to touch it because that is not my toy, but perhaps if you ask nicely, you can come over and play with it. That is pretty cool, actually. Hi, Plastic General. For those of you who did not get to see my episode with Christian Aldo, the Plastic General, I highly recommend you check it out. You can go to my YouTube channel, Planet Lizdom, where all of these episodes are actually archived. Guys, if you have any questions, hop on with me. I am not used to talking this long by myself, so I do want to make sure that you are all watching. I can see there's a lot of viewers here. I just want to make sure that the engagement is there as well. So, I have a whole bunch of cartoons, and I feel like, perhaps it might help to break them up a little bit because, the same song over and over again is going to drive you nuts. But at the same time, there's so much value in all of those cartoons. And I was asked the other day, how do you come up with these Peter Rabbid stories? And I realized very quickly that, the best thing you can do as a writer is write what you know. So I started making Peter Rabids that were in context with who my guest was, which is why I would not have made a Peter Rabbid for tonight because, obviously Peter Rabbid is Peter Rabbid, and it probably would have been really, really stupid. Not good, but stupid. So that being said, I started putting together different Peter Rabids based on the I want to say customers, the guests that I had, and I had a couple of really, really favorite ones that I really liked to show. Oh, thanks, Chris. My brother's watching. Oh, and Plastic General, you own a Cape Canaveral playset. Nicely done. All right, Bort Capcom. Nice to meet you. I don't know that name. It says, okay, here's a question for you. What is your favorite thing in that room? Well, for those of you who have never been in here, this is our studio. So not only do I broadcast from here, but Mysterion and Steffi K broadcast from here as well. You can see his Fuller trophy, their magazine cover from Vanish, the Dunninger poster. Oh, one day I'll be a weather girl. I'll never get it right. But you know what my favorite thing is? This right here is the Vincent Price wax death mask, which, I love Vincent Price. He was one of my very first boyfriends from a show called The Hilarious House of Frightenstein. I had the opportunity to meet Mitch Markowitz a couple of years ago, and he really liked our Dr. M. Mad Mausoleum. So, Vincent, he's my guy. He was one of my first boyfriends, and that's probably one of my favorite pieces in here. But, it does change all the time, and perhaps one day I will give you a tour. My art is actually against the wall here, so you can't actually see it. But, yeah, it's a really nice studio, and I'm really happy to be here. It's a great, great space. Let's see, what is Deborah saying? Could you do your own comic books, Liz? Yes, and Deborah, I am so, so glad you asked that question. So coming up in 2022, I've actually added a new benefit to my Patreon. Let's see if I can find the photo here. So starting January 2022, for anyone who does pledge me $20 a month, they will get a comic coloring book for free, which I will mail to them. And you can actually go to my Patreon at /Planet Lizdom. I'm really glad and grateful to have a lot of patrons already, and the benefits just keep coming. So guys, look in your mailbox because other goodies are going to come. But if you become my VIP patron for $20 a month, I will send you a comic coloring book. And that is on its way. So I'm really, really excited to be making that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Sometimes I get lost in the stream deck. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But yes, that's something that I've had in the works. My goal for 2022 is to solely do Planet Lizdom. And that's it. I really love working for you guys. It is a labor of love. And even though I'm absolutely, all over the map sometimes, this show actually gives me a reason to be, and it keeps me focused. Enough of this pandemic adjustment disorder bullshit that I have to deal with. Pardon my language, but this show keeps me going. So you guys are the reason that I am still here and still sane and still, having a laugh every now and again. So thank you, Deborah. Once that comes, once I see folks have started to kind of join my Patreon, I will definitely send them a message. February is the aim date. So if you have any questions, definitely send me a message. In fact, if you guys have any suggestions or questions or anything in between, feel free to drop me a line. Planet Lizdom on Facebook has a messenger app. Also, if you go to planetlizdom at gmail.com, you can also send me a message there. Sorry, I'm trying not to burp. I've had a lot of Diet Coke today to stay alert and awake. So back to Peter Rabbid. So some of my favorite cartoons actually came out of the guests that I had, and I'm trying to find my most favorite one. March Madness. Where is it? It's so good. And you can kind of tell how much time I had to work with based on the amount of detail. But March Madness is one of my favorites. Check it out. Right. I've been listening to a lot of Madness lately, and I've just been skanking around the house. I don't know. Ska just makes me so happy, and I just can't get enough of it. So, I wanted to be a bit of a rude girl when I drew that. So there you go. Do you guys have any suggestions for Peter Rabbid, or any questions, or, thoughts? Because Peter Rabbid is growing. I'm presently working on learning better animation software, so that's a little more in-depth, a little more exciting. If you guys have any storylines or questions, let me know. Hit the comments. I see a lot of you are watching right now, and I'm so glad to have you here. Whew, my diaphragm is not used to talking like this. You know what? There's another one that I want to show you. Where is it? I have so many. I have 29 of these from this year, actually. That's a lot of Peter Rabids. Oh, actually, this one I love. This one I love. So I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the spring, a lot of major telephone carriers just cacked right out. And man, let me tell you, it was the wrong day for my cell phone service to cut out. So this was inspired by that. I mean, really, who's never had the temptation to put a brick in the mail? I was so mad that day. I wanted to throw a brick right through the window. Seriously, like, how much do we pay for cell phone service? That just should not happen. Greg saying Peter Rabbid should have his own animated series with voices. That's a great idea. I didn't even consider doing it with voices, but thank you for enjoying the Peter Rabbid marathon. I will happily play them all for you guys. I mean, I know you're going to be singing that song in your head for the rest of the week anyway, but yes, you know what? My brother Christopher was responsible for introducing me to Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine and music. Actually, my bigger brother is the reason that I am, half as cool as he is. Funny story for you, and this has absolutely nothing to do with Peter Rabbid, but I love this story. So, picture it, Tottenham, the 80s. Yes, I was born in 76. I grew up in the 80s, and my brother is 7 years older than me. He used to make me hang out in his room and listen to Skinny Puppy, Yes, and everything in between. And I did not get to leave until I could guess the musical stylings of that band. And because of my older brother, Chris, I can now listen to a song and know the musical stylings of that band immediately. To this day, I'll be listening to Spotify. I'll be like, oh, is that Holy Ghost? Yes, it is. Which is an amazing band, by the way. So something that my brother used to do for me is he used to tape Brave New Waves on CBC radio from 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. till 4 in the morning. And he would hand me that tape cassette the next day and say, you know what? There's some bands on here that I think you should check out. And it's because of him specifically that I have a huge appreciation and an enjoyment of new music. I love to hear new bands all the time, which is why I'm so, into the music industry. That's why I interned at Much Music. That's why I love to interview bands and love to go to shows, because I love to hear new music. I love music in general. So my brother really informed that in me. So Chris, thank you so much. You are probably the coolest, best, biggest older brother ever, and you still smell. Anyway, because older brothers are stinky, right? What is the Plastic Journal asking? Do you want Peter Rabid sketch submissions? I would love Peter Rabid sketch submissions. Absolutely. Something I've come to learn, teamwork makes the dream work, and no matter how creative you are, no matter how much you love to write or anything like that, outside help is always welcome. No one person succeeds on their own. We all need each other. And I'm a big believer in, the whole team element. If you do happen to ghostwrite for me, you won't be a ghost. You will get a writing credit. I think it's really important that if somebody does help you creatively, that they get the credit and the recognition. And it's because of all of you guys that I'm here. I will always celebrate everybody who helps me. That is a really big deal. And it is so necessary for us to help each other. So if Christian Aldo or anybody else, any one of you wants to give me writing ideas, please, I would be very grateful for your assistance, and you will get writing credit for it. I absolutely promise that. You can timestamp that. Oh my gosh, you guys are sending me a lot of comments. I love this. Thank you. Rochelle saying I'd love to do a character voice for you. Okay, let's definitely talk. Deborah's saying the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers comics. Say that 5 times fast. That's great. And Plastic General just thought of one just now. Please send me a message, let's talk for sure. And Rochelle's saying, oh man, my Parsnip Guy and Tomato Man should do a crossover with Peter Rabid. Okay, let's definitely talk. Aw, man. He says that Peter is his spirit animal. Dude, let's go for falafels. I will always go for falafels. Definitely. Oh my gosh. And thank you for loving Sucky Service, Deborah. All right, you know what? Let's find a couple of others, because Monica's right. You know what? These are fun. Let's play some more. I really love this one. This one I actually created for Mars Roberge when I did an interview with him, because he had just finished filming his amazing new movie, Mr. Sister. You've got to check it out. If you go to his to Vimeo, you can actually purchase it or rent it. When I can remember exactly what his URL is, and Mars, please remind me, I will happily put it up. Check it out. But in the meantime, here is Pole Position, premiered on my episode with Mars Roberge. I'm also really proud to say that that particular episode was covered by an independent film article out of Australia, and I was really, really stoked to see that. So thank you so much to that that website that covered it. I'm honored that you guys watched the episode and that you enjoyed it that much. Out of order, I don't remember what it is, but let's play it. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, I would be so sad if someone messed up my my falafel order too. Oh my gosh, that would break my heart. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much it would break my heart. Thank you, Mars. Yes, go to vimeo.com/on-demand/Mr. Sister. Guys, I had the honor of interviewing Mars and Deborah at their Toronto premiere. This film is just, it's outstanding. It is an immediate classic. I'm absolutely in love with it. It makes you fall in love with New York in a scene that, not everybody gets to experience. The one-liners are amazing. The fashion is to die for. The cinematography, the writing, everything. I will always gush about it. I'm so proud of you, Mars, and I will always promote you. Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for filling in the blanks between Crap Nation and Planet Lisdom. There are a lot of years between that for sure. Oh, you still have the Peter Rabbit buttons too. Oh, that's amazing. You know, you make things and you forget about them. It happens that way, so I'm always so honored when you guys pull them out and show me a picture. In fact, I would be so stoked to see pictures of you with your buttons again. And I am going to be including buttons with my Patreon. For every $5 Patreon that I get, I will send you a button. So for anyone who is already my Patreon, I'm going to get a hold of your mailing address and I'm going to send you one as well. Mark my words. Let's look at a few more that I've made here, because you know what? It is a labor of love. This one I absolutely love because it's just so silly. I'm going to show 4 of them in a row just to kind of speed it up a little bit for you guys. So first we're going to start with Hail Caesar, Name Game, Wish Not, Want Not, and then Peter versus Rabbit. Oh man, I have made a lot of Peter Rabbits. I didn't realize. Okay, so we've talked about Peter Rabbit and all the things that he's up to, where we're going with it. And you know, the interesting thing about Peter Rabbit, because everybody always asks me, you know, you're a girl, Peter's a guy. And I'm like, so what? You know, Peter Rabbit is kind of an alter ego of mine. If I were to be, you know, a badass bunny, I would be Peter Rabbit, even though he has a girlfriend named Chronica. She's cute, but she's not Peter. And one thing I really like about him is that he may be a badass, but he has a really big heart. He's kind of a cool dude, and he loves to eat. And he also has kind of a dad bod. He's covered in tattoos, and he always has a different band on each t-shirt. So I encourage you guys to kind of go back through Crap Nation, look at the different names, see if anything is funny to you. You know, I love a good Easter egg. I know I include an Easter egg in every single credits that I do at the end of every single episode of Planet Lisdom. So definitely look for the Easter egg tonight. What are ones that I haven't played for you yet? Let's see. Oh, let's go with Dead One-Liners, Weird Wi-Fi, and then T for 2. very often when I'm writing a Peter Rabbid, I'll try to find jokes that are, kind of engaging to everybody. And I've really come to learn that dad jokes and puns seem to be the most interesting and engaging jokes out there. I don't know if you guys remember Bazooka Joke, but you would get your little gum, you open up the wrapper, and there'd be a little cartoon in there. And I remember as a kid, I would just think, oh, that's kind of funny, or like, oh, I get it, or I don't care, or that's stupid. But it would always kind of engage me. Never, ever did I open up a Bazooka Joe and not read the comics. So the reason I do Peter Rabbit at the beginning of each show is to kind of set a tone and just kind of engage you and just open up your mind a little bit. The whole theme to Planet Lizdom is tune in, turn on, and take part, because I want everyone engaged. And Peter Rabbit is a really great vehicle for that. So here's a couple of, really silly jokes that I think are really cute, and they kind of stand the test of time. I'm going to start with Java joke, if I can find it here, as I speed through my stream deck. Where is Java joke? You know what? Let's just start with put a sock in it. Yeah, I highly recommend you never ever do that. I don't know about you guys, but after a full day in my shoes, not such a good idea. This next one I actually created for my interview with Ren Navarro from Beer Diversity, and I think it's one of my best ones, or at least I really like it. Who doesn't love beer goggles, right? You know what? You guys are taking me down memory lane. I forgot about all of these ones. Here's Undercover Shutter. Hands up, who read Bunnicula when they were kids? Because I still love it. It's such a great story. I actually made that cartoon for the beginning of the episode I did with Andrew Robertson, completely not knowing that Bunnicula is one of his favorite books ever. So that was really kind of a nice happy accident, as it were. Guys, we're almost at the end of our show here. Do you have any questions for me? I see some more people in the comments. Let's see, yes. Dad jokes are the best. They are the reason the world turns, and I will never stop enjoying a dad joke, for sure. I love them. Like, whenever someone says a dad joke and people are groaning, I'm just secretly cheering inside and then cheering outside for real. One that I really, really loved doing, what's it called? Yum on the Run. Where the heck is that? There we go. I want to show this one to you guys. I'm particularly proud of this one. Everyone knows clowns taste funny. Oh, Rochelle's saying that her cat Paul is nicknamed Bunnicula. That's really, really sweet. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being with me tonight. It has been such a joy and a pleasure to play all my Peter Rabids for you. There are a few leftover ones that I'm not going to play right now, but I will post them tomorrow. The last one that I do want to play, though, is something that really means a lot to me. I actually drew it when I was making Cactus Vela's episode, and it really, really spoke to me. He has this song that just completely spoke to the heart of me. And I think it's just so important to, that everybody stay the course, as it were. Let's see if I can find it here. I actually didn't number these ones. I titled them like a silly person. Where is Stay the Course? Okay, guys, this one really means the most to me. And that's how I want to end this episode. Words of hope. Guys, it's all about you and me and the connection that we can have here together. That's what Planet Lizdom is for. So when I tell you that it means so much for me to be invited into your lives, into your homes, into your phones every week, I truly mean it. It's a really big deal. So I'm so honored that you would spend the hour with me, guys. You can see all of these shows in syndication on Carney's Show on Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Jeff with a G out of New York City is making some great content. I say it every week, but I truly, truly mean it. And he's actually doing a lot of live events now as well. So definitely follow him on Facebook and on Twitch, and you can find out all about the Devil's Hour. He's amazing, and I highly recommend that you check out what he's doing. Whew, that's a mouthful. And of course, Planet Lizdom, Patreon. Again, if you become my $20 a month pledge for my Patreon, I will send you a coloring comic book in February, a button as well. If you become a $5 Patreon, I will send you a button as well. I have all kinds of other tiers and benefits, so please check it out. You guys are helping me to create great content. You help me pay for my internet, my streaming services, and my Diet Coke. Which is a very big deal. So please be my patron. I would be so grateful. As always, we have a lot of great guests coming up. We are not done yet with 2021. Next week, I have an amazing, amazing music producer and artist named Griffin Galaxy. I am absolutely convinced that he is going to be the next Weekend of Canada. He's amazing. He is hitting Quincy Jones territory. I'm going to say he's really amazing, and I highly recommend you check it out because his music is phenomenal. Every song is radio playable. In the meantime, I have a really great guest lined up for season 2 on January 6th. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but he is one of my favorite Canadian celebrities. So stay tuned. I will keep you guys apprised, and I'll let you know. In the meantime, as always, I encourage you to tune in, turn on, and take part, because you truly never know who's going to land right here on Planet Lizdom. So guys, thank you so much for being with me. I love you. Be well, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.